Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Weekly Pint. It's the show that is not a show, the weekly live stream. Here we go. If I can get everything working, hopefully the video worked this week instead of the way it did last week. But we're here, drinking a psychopathy. I have not cracked my my show beer yet. I just finished. Well, not just. I finished a little while ago. Recording an episode of Cincy Brewcast. Not this week's episode. Well, this week's episode posted today, but not next week's episode. I recorded that this weekend. It's the week after that because I'm trying desperately to get ahead of schedule, as I'm always trying desperately to get ahead of schedule, as you know at this point. Phone lines are, as almost always, active. If I can find where that is, it is going to go right up here, in theory. There it is. There's the number. Call 567-70-DRINK. Or the other numbers are right there, too, if that's too difficult. Right there. See them? So call in. Be part of the show. But in the meantime, I need a beer. This glass is empty. So, we're going to go Schwester from Sonder, their Hefeweizen. We're going to pretend that it's summertime and that I'm sitting out in the sunshine and drinking Hefeweizen. Hefeweizen. I always give it little swirls to make sure any of that cloudy, yeasty goodness doesn't get left behind. So the show that I recorded, the whole room smells like delicious bananas and cloves now. The show that I recorded today was with 50 West. So far, in talking about the coronavirus stuff, we talked to Mad Tree this week. Next week we've got Brett from Urban, and we talked to them. And then this week it's 50 West. Now this week I did run into all kinds of technical difficulties because it's my life. So I haven't listened back to what exactly happened, but I'm pretty sure that the first part of the show got lost. So we'll see how much of it. I looked it down at one point, and the timer on the recorder was just stopped at 10 minutes. I don't really know what happened there, but gonna have to figure that out. So it's always fun. Everybody tell me what you got going on. Marco's drinking psychopathy, and that's good. Anybody else? Feel free to chime in. Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me what your life is like, and we'll go from there. I like I said, I mentioned we recorded a future episode tonight. The reason for that is because in a couple weeks I'm having a baby. So tonight's show the show that I recorded tonight will air the day that I'm having Baby Gnome 2. Drinking the Little Beaver Listerman collab. I actually have not tried that one, and I would love to get my hands on it and try it. I have not. Oh, ramble on. We talked about that one briefly on this week's episode of Cincy Brewcast. Hi, Dingus. We all know what Justin's drinking, although it was not High Life last time, was it? So anyway, the show that I recorded tonight is going to air after I have another kid. So that's kind of a weird thing to wrap my head around, understanding that by the time I am caught back up, in theory caught back up, I'll have another person living with us. It's weird and it's terrifying in the middle of all of this that's going on, I guess. Oh, the other big thing, I finally got the first couple pieces of the new project sort of done. I have, they're not really, episodes isn't the right word. They're short little video clips. I bounced around on names a bunch. I had Drinks with the Gnome. So this is the same idea as everything I do. It's just an excuse to hang out and drink. So it's short video clips, mostly for Instagram TV, but they will probably make their way over to YouTube also, just for easy embedding on the website and everything. We'll talk about showings all day. I finally got busy. Yeah, we have not slowed down at my work. It's been crazy and crazy for a couple of us more than others. But what was I saying? Now I've completely lost my train of thought, and I started thinking about work again. The new project. I'm just hanging out behind the bar, drinking something. The first things that I've recorded are obviously beers, and I am assuming that it was a good beer. I haven't had that one yet either. I'm assuming that most of the episodes will revolve around beers, but that's not to say that booze won't make an appearance. Wine at some point, once I really start digging into wine a little bit heavier on the website. Sake, all kinds of stuff. Whatever I want to have a drink and share, I guess, will make an appearance. So I toyed around with a couple different names for what this show is going to be called. Drinks with the Gnome was a contender. I went through, when I was thinking about it just being beer only, I thought about doing like these really quick beer reviews almost. So like speedy Cincinnati beer reviews, something like that. I didn't like that though, because I don't like doing beer reviews. I think it's stupid. Nobody cares what my actual opinion is. So I did settle on something. If you guys want the official sneak peek, now it's not quite done yet. Like I said, I have 2 quote unquote episodes recorded. I'm not really happy with how they start or end. So I might re-record them, but maybe not. I might just use those as the first 2 episodes, and then it'll change a little bit. I also have to animate a couple things for some production value, but the show itself is Prost by the Gnarly Gnome. I couldn't decide Prost from the Gnarly Gnome or by the Gnarly Gnome, but by the Gnarly Gnome is where I settled. So stay tuned for that. It may be up as early as this week sometime. But like I said, mostly on Instagram. And then eventually you'll start to see some stuff appear on the website with it. I don't know how heavy I'm going to promote it on the website, but like I said, mostly for Instagram. So that's at Prost. I'm excited about it. It's been fun. Here, I guess I could... Actually, I can't even easily show you, but I need to set up the streaming from a device over there. That's what it looks like. It's just me standing behind the bar, talking about beer. I think I've got... No, I guess the sound isn't set up for this. Oh, there it is. Oh. So, sneak peek. I drank Goldeneye for a spoiler alert on one of them. We did, I did Goldeneye for one, and then for the second episode that I recorded, it's West Side's Triple IPA. So, that's that. Hot sake bombs. I actually prefer cold sake over hot sake. Not that I don't like hot sake, but it's also kind of a pain in the ass down here in the basement to try to heat up sake. What else? The baby is consuming our life, trying to get everything ready for that, and trying to get ahead of shows. I'm trying to get all of May recorded and ready to post before we go into the hospital. So that's been really exciting trying to do. I was all ahead, and then I took a couple weeks off when all of this stuff started happening, and my wife was trying to work from home and all of that, so I used up all of those episodes, and I was caught back up. I'm ahead a little bit now, so trying to do that again is not fun. It's just a lot of work, I guess. Not that this is really work, but it is very time consuming. Finally got a new post ready to go. Figure I'll post it in the morning tomorrow with some Urban Artifact news. They, let me see if I can show you the beer that spawned the article. Again, I'm always so unprepared with all of this crap, so it makes it hard to do this on the fly, but let's see. This was a beer label. Like I said, next week, I assume I said it, next week, Brett from Urban is on the Brewcast, so we talked about a lot of stuff, and one of the things we talked about is their dinosaur series. I was drinking Bapiosaurus is how I pronounce it. I don't know if that's right. Cold sake bombs. There we go. I haven't had a sake bomb since college. We talked about the dinosaur series though because I was drinking one, and we talked kind of where that series is going, and then coincidentally, just recently on the TTB, a label for one of the new ones came up. Dilophosaurus, which everybody remembers from the movie Jurassic Park, the little spitting dinosaur. But what's interesting about this label, if you look close on it, the serving size of the beer is a little bit different than what you're used to. They are 6.3 fluid ounces. And they are, after talking to Brett, they are definitely bottles. They're going to be tiny little bottles, and they're going to do 4 packs instead of one 500 milliliter bottle. So it's the same amount of beer, just smaller servings. So I like that as opposed to having a big bottle that you're drinking yourself. I like having the smaller ones. It makes it easier to kind of crack them open just a whim. This one here is with pawpaw fruit, so I am pretty excited to try that one. If you're also excited, cool. Be excited and call in and tell me. 567-70-DRINK. I assume the phone's answer on. I assumed I turned it on. Anymore, I have no idea. I just, every time I start to get a handle on everything that's going on, it seems like chaos ensues. But it'll be nice. Well, it'll be hectic, but it'll be nice to get a little time to just not have to rush to work every day, to be able to be home with the family and manage all of that. But I am going to try to keep this show that isn't a show going through all of that. Hopefully I'll have new episodes every week, including, in theory, including the day that we're in the hospital. But I have started preparing my wife for that, and she hasn't, flipped her shit on me, so I'm hoping it'll happen. I'll need somebody to talk to at that point after a full day of creating life. Although honestly, if we were going in today, I'm pretty sure that I would just not be allowed in there when she's, having the baby. So we don't know what that's actually going to look like when push comes to shove. So maybe I'll just be hanging out by myself. Maybe they won't even let me in the hospital. We don't know. We don't really know what things are going to look like in a couple weeks. Hopefully they're going to look a lot better, but oh, I love a good hip medicine. Matt, you were talking about your homebrew and that you were drinking homebrew. My first homebrew that I ever did was a Dunkelweizen, I think. Yeah. Dunkelweizen, and then I think we rebrewed, I don't think it was the exact same beer, but we rebrewed something very similar when we first bought this house, which is our first house, obviously, together. I guess it's not obvious, but... And that was in 2012, I guess, was when we moved in here. And I think I still have 3 bottles of it left sitting somewhere. They're terrible. It's I've never been a good brewer. I'm a good drinker, but not a good brewer. They're a little green apple-y. I guess, you know what? Not that that's bad. They're actually, like, they don't taste bad. They're just not at all what they're supposed to be. But I do still have a couple bottles of it. So if anybody is over here in the future and I still have some and you want to drink one, let me know and we'll crack one open. I mean, they're stable. They're not they're not refrigerated. They are sitting actually right on the other side of the studio. So the podcast studio, to give you an idea, it sits, well, you walk in over here, there's a door, and then there's a big long table here, which is set up for 4 people. Not that anybody ever comes here anymore. Behind me over here is one computer if I want to run Skype or something like that on there. I have a computer right here that you guys are on. That's another computer for Skype or something, and then the phone line. So we could do 3 remote guests too and still keep everybody on their own channel, which is way too geeky to talk about. The wall behind me, it just has a crappy, like, moving blanket hanging on it to muffle the sound a little bit. This wall over here is treated, and that wall is starting to be treated, but not done yet. But then this wall over here, this is probably not exciting for anybody. There's storage kind of along that wall, and then I've got some curtains hanging in front of it to kind of help deaden some of the sound there. But in that storage, this is where I was going with it, is where the beer is stashed away. Drinking a chocolate midnight society. That sounds way better than a light, effervescent summer beer with how things are going in my life right now. I need something big and heavy. It was funny. So my parents are not good at practicing their social distancing, and yesterday I was just finishing up, I guess it was yesterday. No, yeah. Yesterday was Sunday, I think. I just finished up recording the Urban Artifact episode, and I was just sitting here on the computer chatting with Brett, and my wife from upstairs texted me, and she said that the old man is here. I said, oh, okay. And so we'll send him down, and he came down, so I kind of pointed him over the fridge to grab a beer, and he came back with my very last West Side Imperial Stout can, and he just cracks it open and starts drinking it, and I'm like, Chuck, you know that's an 11% beer that you just stole. Oh, it is? So that was funny. But that was probably other than stuff that's in the cellar, stuff that's cold, I don't think I have a whole lot of big dark beers left. That's not true. Oh, excuse me. That's not true. I have the Bagpipes of Bardstown, maybe? No, the old motor oil. The old motor oil from Grainworks. I have a bottle of that in the fridge in here. Can't really see what's on the other side of the fridge. But that's about it for dark beers that are, chilled down and ready to drink. I've got plenty of Dark Charge laying around and things like that. I have 3 hours of line cleaning ahead of me. Yeah. We've talked about that a lot in the last couple episodes about the hell that we're all going to be stuck in when all of this goes back to quote unquote normal, and everybody starts showing up to bars and restaurants that have a bunch of dirty tap lines. It's the part about all of this that nobody's really talking about yet. The new normal isn't necessarily going to be awesome right away. I do feel a lot... Oh my god, I'm yawning again. Sorry. It's been a long freaking week. Um, will all Cincinnati breweries make it through this? I feel better about that today than I did if you would have asked me that last week or the week before. After talking to this week, we were talking to Matry. After talking to them, talking to Urban, talking to 50 West, they all see, maybe it's all a bunch of BS, but they all seem like they are in very good spirits and very, I wouldn't say very comfortable, but they're all comfortable. They all have a plan at this point. Um, if you listen to this week's episode, Matry made it clear that if things just keep going the way they are, they're good until at least December. That was kind of their goal to hit to make sure that they could last that long. Um, I think well, you'll hear it next week, but my understanding with Urban, oh, my weeks are weird. You guys both said the same thing. Sorry. The week from last Monday until this Monday has been a long week. Um, I think from my understanding with Urban is they scaled things back enough that they are kind of um, they're maxed out again, and they're good to go the way things are. I mean, yes, they just had to lay a bunch of people off, but they can keep going. And you'll have to wait for the 50 West stuff, but obviously, I feel good about it. And I assume that this is the story with most places. I mean, I don't know the story about everybody. I've expressed my concerns about Rock Bottom a few times and what's going to happen with them because of their parent company, and they were going through some shit before all of this went down. So I have concerns about that. I have concerns about some of the other places that people have talked about from time to time. Nobody that I think that I would tell you is absolutely 100% going to close, or the other way, that 100% wouldn't. But a lot of it obviously depends on when things do start going back to normal and what that means, because we still don't really know what that means. These breweries are going to need some kind of guidance to how to do it again, how to come back from being shut down. How do you just open your doors back up? You know, it's not something anybody has ever done before, and you're gonna open these doors, and is that at 50% capacity? Is it something else? I don't know. And then on top of that, as soon as you do open back up, now you have to deal with people returning kegs or wanting to return kegs and things like that because they've got old beer that's just sitting around, that's been sitting around for a few months, and you can't really sell that. If you're one of the breweries that's lucky enough to also be a distillery, maybe take it back and just distill it, and that doesn't really hurt anybody necessarily, but I don't know. It's hard to predict what things are going to look like. I would not say for certain that all Cincinnati breweries will make it through this, but I will definitely not for certain say that all Cincinnati breweries will not make it through this, because I feel a lot better about it today than I ever have. So there's that, I guess. Oh, I am dreading the next couple of weeks ahead of us, trying to get everything in order. It is literally 2 weeks from today that all hell breaks loose. I also need to find, so we when kid number one was a baby, she had all kinds of fun little beer outfits and stuff, and we have no idea where they are. They're not with all the baby clothes, so I have to figure that out. I'm guessing they're stashed away down here somewhere, but I don't really know where. Maybe I used them as like insulation on one of the walls or something when I was doing construction. They're soundproofing at this point. Baby Drew. It'll be fun, but man, it's hard enough to get down here in the basement on a Monday at 9 to start a show with one kid. Oh boy, you might see just some random live streams pop up at 3 in the morning or something when I'm pacing the house. There is something fun about that stage, and not having to go to work. You wake up at 3 in the morning to change a diaper or feed a baby. You can crack open a beer while you're walking around trying to get them back to sleep, and that's socially acceptable in my household. It'll be fun, kind of experiencing all of that from the perspective that I have now after having one kid, going into it with number two. I mean, we're surviving. The thing about it, and this is obviously not you, Jack, but there are some really some really stupid people who have had lots of kids and done just fine and have created some really great kids out of that. So I'm not really worried about it. The logistics of the things that I just keep planning. You missed I don't think you were on the stream yet when I was talking about the new project that I'm working on, but I just keep lumping in these new projects, just these ideas that I keep playing around with, and it's starting to feel like a bit of a sadomasochism or something, trying to squeeze it all into a schedule where you have all this family stuff. I don't know if it's easier when everybody is shut down or if it's harder. I guess the stress level from my wife is probably a little bit harder through all of this, and she's has not left the house for weeks, and a little stressed out with all of the crap that goes around that. But at the same time, I don't have to plan when I'm at home, when I'm not at home, and try to schedule stuff around that. I'm at home every night. Like, I look at my calendar and it's like, I'm at home. It makes it a little easier. The more gnomes you make, the more gnomes to work. So far, they don't really do much of anything. As you are well aware, they just destroy. And she told me today, number one, this is, she told me that she does not like beer. We were getting ready for dinner, and I poured a beer into a glass. I had a pivot from Sonder, and I poured it into a glass, and it kind of foamed over a little bit, so I grabbed a towel and wiped up, around the glass where it spilled. And then later she needed to wipe her hands because she spilled something all over, and I handed her the towel and wiped it, and she said, "Daddy, this is the towel you had beer on?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "Now I'm going to smell like beer." And I said, "That's perfect." And she said, "No, I don't like beer." So, no. Pivot. Yeah, if you're making the Friends reference, I don't understand it. I think I'm the only person my age that just never watched Friends. I mean, not that I never watched Friends, but I was not a Friends. Oh, yeah. I got the video of your youngest talking about wanting a beer. We're about at a half hour, guys. It's probably time to start wrapping this up. But yeah, the new project launches this week, so be ready for that. Keep your eyes peeled. I don't know exactly when, but like I said, I think it's going to be this week. What is that? What were you talking about here? Is that one of those cool abbreviations that I don't know? I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I'm not the only one. I'm in love with Pivot, but I am definitely on board with this becoming a hang on, I'm trying to change this back here. I don't know how I met your mother. I didn't watch that either. So if you guys listen to the Sonder Stories podcast, they were talking about the best sitcoms because they were talking about Pivot. And most of the shows that everybody's naming, I just never watched. And I realized how little of sitcoms. I don't know what Pros does, but I'll keep an eye. It's an Instagram show. It's primarily Instagram. It will make it to YouTube and be embedded on the website too. But Instagram this week sometime in theory. But I've never seen How I Met Your Mother. I've never really watched Friends. I've never finished Parks and Rec. I like Parks and Rec. I just don't really watch TV. I think The Office was pretty much the only thing that was in the discussion that I had seen. Oh yeah, but what I was saying is I'm definitely on board with Pivot. Instead of Pivot becoming a year-round beer, the idea of doing a year-round series of easy drinking, crushable lagers in the 6-packs of 60-ounce cans. Because I liked Operation Steam. I like Pivot. I like all that stuff. And I think it'd be fun, every month or two to have just a new one to go snag. So, Simpsons, South Park. Those are not sitcoms, I don't think. I don't even know what the definition for a sitcom is. If it's animated, can it still be a sitcom? I don't know. That is neither here nor there because this is not the weekly sitcom. This is Weekly Pint, and we are at about a half hour, so we're going to call it. But, like I said, stick around on the internet. Stick around on the internet because there is a new show coming. They're short. I think the longest one that I've played around with so far was like 6 minutes. It's time for bed. No, it's not. It's finally time to get stuff done now that kids are asleep. Kid in my house. That's the way we do it. So, we'll be back next week with this. The week after that, in theory, we'll be back with it, but I will be in the hospital, so there's a lot that depends on, but I will do my best. Thank you guys for listening. If you are a supporter on Patreon, if you're one of the Nomies, thank you for your continued support, and it makes all of this fun stuff possible. So thank you. Cheers, everybody.